Hello and welcome. I'm so glad you joined me. I'm Karen from This Mainer Mom, bringing real life help to real life moms. I'm bringing a food prep for you today of 3 packages of muffins. I'm chopping up some pearl onions because I didn't want to have to cry on Christmas, so I did them the night before. And I'm making chicken enchiladas for my family. So come with me. I'm starting off with chocolate chunk muffins, and I would say these are definitely a favorite with the kids. And I noticed that the next morning when they were getting their breakfast, these were the muffins that were gone first. While that first batch of muffins is in the oven, I'm going to get started cutting up the chicken for my enchiladas. I had cooked these already in the oven. I just put them in on bake at 425 degrees, and I just kept checking them, and when they were cooked through, I took them out. And I'm just dicing the chicken as a rough chop, and I'm just trying to think about how big I'll want them in the enchilada. Which actually, I say enchilada, but they'll be going in burrito shells. And as far as a recipe, I got this recipe from my Better Homes and Gardens cookbook. If you look up a chicken enchilada recipe on Google and you pick one with a white sauce, it'll be very similar to the one that I'm making today. About the time I finish chopping up the chicken, the chocolate chip muffins are coming out of the oven. So I'm getting those on a cooling rack, and then I'm going to get the rest of the batter in muffin cups. And I found that I only just had a little bit of batter left over, so I put that in, and then I'll get started on the next muffin mix, which you'll see in just a minute is going to be blueberry. We do love this brand of muffins, which I can't even pronounce. Is it Crusto? I have no idea. So, as a random story here, while I'm making blueberry muffins, my younger 3 daughters did some blueberry picking for a farm over the summer, and so they had a good laugh when I opened up this can of blueberries and showed them how tiny those blueberries are, because they were not even allowed to pick the tiny ones. They had to be looking for the big ones. So this pan is a mix of 3 of the chocolate chip muffins, and then the rest is all the blueberry muffin mix. They actually had different cook times. You weren't supposed to cook the chocolate chip as long as the blueberry, but I figured they'll be fine. And those chocolate chip just came out a little bit more tan on the top, but they were fine. My kitchen's a bit of a hot mess, so I'm just cleaning things up in between once I got the muffins in the oven so that I wouldn't be left with a big mess at the end of my cooking. And now I'm going to get going on those pearl onions, getting those cut up while my muffins are in the oven. Can you tell all those faces I'm making? Those onions are getting to me. They were super fresh, and I'm telling you, the onion struggle was real. How do you like to chop your onions? Do you chop them underwater? Do you put on goggles while you chop them? What's your secret to staying from crying? I was really glad I was doing this the night before Christmas because, no lie, I did not want to be crying on Christmas Day, even over onions. Now my second batch of muffins is out of the oven and they're coming out great. It's getting near supper time, so I decided to get those enchiladas going, and I intended to saute onions first and completely forgot. I'm already making the roux with the butter and flour. So I threw in a little bit of chicken broth so it wouldn't dry out, and then I cooked the onions and garlic in a separate pan to be added after they're cooked through, which was my daughter's idea. It was a super good idea, and even though I did this in the complete wrong order, they still came out great, thankfully. So here I'm adding the garlic, which I do when the onion is almost done because I don't like to risk burning my garlic. Now I'm adding in a container of sour cream. I'm using a large one because I doubled this recipe. And then I'll be putting in a lot more chicken broth and making a nice white sauce. And honestly, I looked on Google to see if I could find this recipe since I can't share it because it's in a cookbook and copyright. But if you look up chicken enchilada recipe with white sauce, you'll find a lot of really good recipes. Stirring it around, and I'm letting it get thick, and when it's thickened a bit, then I'm ready to mix it with that chicken I had cooked up ahead of time and getting it in my enchiladas. I didn't put all the chicken in the bowl at once. I did like half of it, and then I mixed it with enough sauce to incorporate the chicken because I was afraid of having too much filling. So I'm going to get stuffing these enchiladas, and as you can see, I fold in the middle and then I just roll it and I put it seam side down on my cookie sheet. Normally you would use a casserole dish. I'm using this cookie sheet because I know I'm going to be making a lot of them since I have a big family. It was a little tricky because you pour the rest of the sauce over the top of it when you're done, and because my cookie sheet is shallow, I had to be really careful not to overflow it everywhere and make a big mess. So I just filled this cookie sheet up with enchiladas, and then I did a few in a casserole dish, and then I baked it in the oven. The oven was 350 degrees, and then I only needed about 20 minutes because everything was pre-cooked anyway. Now that supper's in the oven, I can get going on the banana bread mix, and I got this at Walmart, and it is gluten-free and dairy-free, which is why I got it, because I needed that for my older daughter. And we also substituted chia seeds in for the egg. We used 1 tablespoon of, actually 2 tablespoons of chia seeds and 6 tablespoons of water, and we soaked the chia seeds for about 10 to 15 minutes in that water and then just dumped it in place of egg, and you would have never known that we didn't use egg. It was a great substitute. And you can see Rachel adding the chia seed mixture now. The recipe called for nuts, but we decided to add dairy-free chocolate chips instead. The muffins are ready to go in the oven, and this made about, as you see, 1.5 dozen, which was great. If you enjoy food prep videos, I invite you to click on the left corner link that will bring you to my other food prep videos, and you can keep on watching. Or if you click on the right hand side where you see my face up in the corner, you can subscribe to my channel. My next video will be taking down that Christmas tree. I can't wait to see you next time. Bye!